For the past week I've been testing DDPAI's new Z90 Master, their most advanced dash cam yet. It records the front, the rear, and even inside the car at the same time. So is this really the ultimate set and forget dash cam, or just another expensive tech gimmick? Let's find out.
You're watching Motoring Box, proudly supported by Century Batteries.
Now, I've actually been using DDPAI products for about 8 years now, starting with the DDPAI Mini, moving on to the Mini 2, the Mini 5, which I still use today, and also the Mola N3 Pro. But this one is a little bit different. This is their current flagship product, the Z90 Master. It is a triple channel dash cam. That means front, rear, and also interior car recording. And they've also sent me their 4G cloud box, which promises to leave this dash cam connected to the internet 24/7, which in theory means you should be able to access it via your smartphone, even when you're not in the vicinity of the car. For now, I want to unbox this dash cam. We'll see what's included. We'll get it installed into the vehicle, and then I'll live with it for a week or two to give you my honest thoughts and opinions on how it performs. Let's get started. Alright, so let's get this opened up and see what we're working with. Inside the main box is the Z90 Master front unit itself, which is really the brains of the whole system. Straight away, this feels like a proper premium bit of kit. So the front-facing camera is a full 4K Sony Starvis 2 sensor, which in a dash cam sounds a little bit like overkill, but it should mean that the footage coming out of this is insanely clear. It's got a solid weight to it, it's got a nice large screen on the back, and a pretty clean design overall. Also in the main box is the rear camera. It's a nice little compact unit, simple design, and this will mount on the rear window to give you full coverage behind the car. This rear camera again is 4K with a Sony Starvis 2 sensor, which means the footage out of the rear should look just as good as what we see out the front. We also have your usual accessories, including a CPL filter, which helps to cut down glare through the windscreen, the power adapter for running it off the cigarette lighter, and the required cables to power the cameras and link them together. And in the third box, we've got this little guy here, which is the interior camera. It's a nice compact design again, and this records everything happening inside the cabin. So this interior camera also has an infrared beam on the front too, meaning you're going to get crystal clear footage even in pitch black dark conditions. And in the fourth box, we have the 4G cloud module. This is what allows the dash cam to stay connected to the internet, so in theory you can check footage, get alerts, and access the car remotely through your phone. So here we have the 3 cameras all together, and I've got to say, this is a pretty nice looking bit of kit. And as you can see here, the front camera module itself can tilt up and down as well, which makes it easier to get your angle set right once it's mounted to the windscreen in your vehicle. For a quick size comparison, I also have the DDPAI Mini 5 here. Mini 5 is more of a compact set and forget unit, whereas the Z90 is more of a full-featured, everything covered setup. So now it's time for the installation. So with all dash cams, I recommend getting a hardwire mounting kit. This is an added extra cost, but it allows you to neatly wire in the dash cam to your car permanently without using the cigarette lighter adapter and just minimizing the amount of cables that are floating around on your dashboard. I'm going to mount the Z90 up high on the windscreen so that it sits partially behind the rear view mirror. I highly recommend this position because it keeps the camera out of your field of view when driving. The power from the hardwire kit runs into a 2-way splitter cable. One side feeds the main Z90 front camera, and the other feeds the Mini 3X interior camera, which you'll want to mount somewhere with a clear view of the cabin. I chose to mount mine over here on the left, and even in this position, the viewing angle is wide enough to capture pretty much everything happening inside the car. From there, it's just a matter of installing the rear camera, running the cable through the headlining to the front of the car, and plugging it directly into the Z90. And that's essentially the hardware side of the install done. Connecting to the Z90 is all handled through the DDPAI smartphone app. I've always found the app to be quick and easy to use, and once connected, you're presented with the live view of the front camera. And you can easily scrub back through the recorded footage or switch to the rear or interior camera to review those as well. You can also update the firmware and adjust all of the camera settings directly from here, but we'll take a closer look at that a little bit later on. Now let's take a look at the footage, because at the end of the day, this is really what matters with any dash cam. On a clear day, the front camera footage looks absolutely stunning in 4K. It's clear, sharp, and incredibly detailed. YouTube compression is definitely going to be working against us, but if I pause the frame and zoom in a little, it should give you a better idea of what the raw footage actually looks like. It's really impressive. The rear camera is also dealing with direct sunlight and a slightly dirty rear window here, but even so, it's still super clear and very sharp. Overcast conditions are again very impressive. Number plates can be picked up from several car lengths away, and those wide viewing angles means you're capturing a huge amount of detail both in front and behind the vehicle. Make no mistake, if anything happens on the road, you're going to have a very solid amount of evidence to work with. The interior camera during the day is also excellent. On an overcast day like this, the lighting inside the cabin is nice and even, with no harsh shadows or blown out highlights. For rideshare drivers in particular, this could be a really useful feature, especially once we get into night driving, which we'll look at shortly. But what about the audio quality? This is a test of the microphone recording, the sound quality. What does it sound like? Does it sound good or bad? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This footage is from late afternoon highway traffic, and again the footage is fantastic. Number plates can be picked up from multiple lanes across, and overall I've been really impressed with just how detailed everything looks. The rear camera is dealing with some heavy window tint, rear demister elements, and also a fairly steep angle across the glass itself. But even with all that working against it, the footage is still clear and vehicles are easily identifiable. And finally, we have a clip here driving straight into the afternoon sun. To my eyes, this was extremely bright and pretty hard to deal with. But for the Z90, it really isn't a problem at all. It still captured everything very clearly. Again, YouTube compression won't be doing us any favors, but the original footage coming straight off the camera is incredibly sharp and detailed. And now it's time for the nighttime performance, so have a look at the footage here on the screen. I think the Z90's done a pretty good job at resolving the details of the environment, the cars, but it always comes back to the fact that these smaller image sensors in dash cams or action cameras always struggle in low light conditions. And it is respectable footage, especially when you pull up at a set of lights, you can still read the number plates on the car in front, beside you, and even 1 or 2 car lengths ahead. And now we're going to look at the rear camera, and the rear camera has to deal with a much more difficult scene. Because it doesn't have the headlights of the vehicle illuminating the road, the scene itself is going to be darker, and it also has to try and resolve and deal with the bright headlights of the cars which are following you. So do bear that in mind when you look at this footage. Overall, I would say the night performance is very good. I've not seen a dash cam which has been able to do this better, and if you've seen one, let me know in the comments below what model it was. I thought this would be a great time to test out the interior camera in low light. We're in a car park here, it's about as dark as it gets. I am wearing a black shirt at the moment, but on this it looks white. But have a look at the clarity. You can see this fabric here on the front seat very, very clearly. And even all the way in the back, I'm also very sharp. So we'll swap back to the forward-facing camera and then we'll delve into the settings so I can show you what we've got. And it's important to remember the setup that I'm running here. I've got the hardwire kit, which allows for parking monitoring, and the 4G cloud box, which allows for remote connection, which we'll talk about after this. You've got the volume of the speaker. I usually have that down pretty low. You've got a power on tone, which literally the camera says hello every time it powers on. I turn that off too. There are settings for voice control, for taking snapshots, recording video, things like that, on or off. There is an ADAS setting here, which is Advanced Driver Assistance System. So this is to do with if the vehicle in front of you pulls away at a set of lights, it'll warn you. You can set that high, middle, low, or off. So for the next setting, the screen off animation, this is when the screen goes idle. What does it do? I just want it to turn off, but you can set it to display a digital or analog clock, or a little face emoji. And the recording resolution. So you've got 2 4K options, 30 and 25 frames per second, or you can go 3K at 60. So that is a nice little trade-off. If you want the higher frame rate, you can toggle the microphone on or off. You can toggle timestamps and speed stamps on or off on the video. When you take a photo with this camera, you can set it to automatically take a video of varying lengths at the same time. You can also set the collision sensitivity. So this is when driving or when parked. So because I have that hardwire kit, there's also settings here for parking monitoring. When the engine turns off, what does it do? I've got it set to sleep mode, so the camera sleeps, but when it detects a hit, it'll actually power on and record it. You can also do ordinary video where it just continues recording as usual, or it can record a time lapse, which is just recording everything really quickly. Speaking of that, you've got a very important setting here, probably the most important, which is the battery protection. So this is where the camera will automatically power off once you hit a predetermined voltage on your electrical system. I work with batteries at Century Batteries, and I know that anything under 12.4 starts to permanently damage batteries. So I've got it set to 12.4, but you can delve lower if you want to. But bear in mind that the longer the battery is down at that voltage, it will start to hurt the long-term longevity of it. You've got some Wi-Fi settings here, so this just determines on whether the Wi-Fi stays active or whether it goes into an energy-saving mode. You've got a 4G self-test here for the 4G box, which we'll talk about after this. Mine all check out as normal, so that is great. It was very easy to install. You can get a remote control for these cameras too, so you can pair it in there. You can also transfer files to the memory card. So this is from the built-in storage to the SD card. You can copy them over, pull the card out, put it into your PC, whatever you want. And the final setting is for managing that device storage, for formatting the cards and the internal memory. When you swap to the other cameras, like the rear facing, they do come with their own settings, so you can delve in here. Much more basic settings for the rear camera, but you can also do the interior camera too. And this one has a bunch of settings too. Speaker as well, flipping the screen, adjusting the resolution, although I think we've just got 3K at 30. Infrared settings, microphone, timestamp. It has its own parking monitoring as well. I'll probably make it dormant as well, just like the front and rear facing cams. And that is about it. So now we'll talk about the 4G cloud box and how that works. So my car is actually down at a local mechanic getting the gearbox replaced today, and I can dial in through the app and get a live view from the front and rear cameras in the vehicle. So I can see it is actually sitting here on the street. They haven't pulled it into the garage yet, but I can see everything around it. I can also turn on the audio to listen to that if I wish. This app also lets you do the GPS location, so you can pull up a map and it'll show the pin on the map of where your vehicle currently is and whether it's parked or driving. So to me, this is quite a useful feature. It's something that I've wished I could have done with previous dash cams. It kind of mixes, you know, a dash cam with a GPS monitoring device and puts them together. The only downside with it, as far as that GPS monitoring goes, is if your car does get stolen, thieves are probably going to disconnect your dash cam straight away. So although I can't recommend this as a full-blown replacement to a proper hidden stealthy GPS tracker, it is a really nice feature to have. And this app will actually send notifications to your phone. So I've been getting notifications all morning when the mechanics have actually gotten in the car, they've moved it. It tells me whether the car's started, whether it's moving, whether there has been an incident, which is kind of DDPAI speak for, you know, a movement or an impact. So yeah, pretty cool system. And the 4G box did come with a SIM card in the pack, and that's provided by DDPAI. And as you can see here, they have plans for renewing that service. So straight away, I got 90 days free included. But after that, you've got 30 days for about 13 Australian dollars, 180 days for $61. So there are some ongoing fees there, but you would fully expect that with a 4G system, which is using the cellular network. So when it comes to the DDPAI Z90 Master, do I recommend it? Well, yes, I do. Genuinely, really impressive setup. I think for the money, it is a really great kit. When it comes to the negatives, the only two I could think of were the wiring solution, which is included in the pack. It isn't as intuitive as it could have been, but if you do follow that diagram, which again, I'll put up here on screen, it is not too hard to figure it out. And once you wire it in, it is literally a set and forget. You only have to do it once. That is one thing. The other thing is really the price. And it's not that I think it's expensive, because I don't think it is for what you're getting. I think it's a really good deal. But it comes back to really, what do you need in a dash cam? Do you need the full 3-channel setup? So obviously the front is a given, the rear is a nice to have, the interior, that's where you need to think about it. If you're a rideshare driver, absolutely, this thing with the interior camera would be worth its weight in gold. But if you're a private driver just in your family vehicle, do you need an interior camera? That's a question that only you can answer. If the answer is yes, then a full 3-channel kit is highly recommended, and I would absolutely recommend this one. If you only need 2-channel front and rear, I believe they do sell the Z90 with a 2-channel kit that would be cheaper. So that would be something worth looking into. When it comes to this kit as well, I would also, as I mentioned before, recommend the hardwire kit. And if you do want that full remote monitoring capability, then the 4G Cloud Box would also be a worthy add-on. So I'm curious, would you run a triple channel dash cam, or would a 2 or single channel unit be ideal for you? Let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, yeah, if you have any questions about the Z90 Master, let me know. I'm all over this thing. I've been running it for about a week and a half now. Brilliant camera. Hit me up, I'll answer them as best I can. Otherwise, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.